Hi, Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And my last video, I made this card using the half-full stamp set. I showed how easy it is to put it together, and I also gave you some ideas about how you could dress it up a little bit for Christmas using the same pattern, stamping pattern, only adding some Christmas paper as a layering and this Christmas sentiment, and maybe adding some of the holly berries. So for this video, what I want to show is how easy it is to use this stamp here in the set to make tags. And here I made a very simple tag that can coordinate with the card that I put together in my last video, as well as a more dressy Christmas tag that could very easily go with my Christmas card. Okay, so let's get started. What you're going to need to make this is you're going to need the half-full stamp set. You're going to need both Always Artichoke for one of the tags, and I'm going to be using Cherry Cobbler to stamp the other tag. You're going to need some of the metallic edged ribbon, and I'm using Very Vanilla cut at 2 inches and Real Red cut at 2 inches, and this is the new Champagne foil sheet cut at 2 inches. You'll also need the 2 punches. This is our scallop punch, and this goes very well. It fits with this stamp here, and I'm going to show you how that can be put together. And then I have this this piece right here, the chevron punch. We're going to use that. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Very Vanilla, and I'm going to get my stamp and put it on a D block. Okay, so I took a 2-inch piece of Very Vanilla and I stamped the 2 images on it. But let me stop for a minute and let's talk about the measurements, because I've been making a couple of these, so this is kind of coming a little bit intuitive. So I just want to stop and explain what I'm trying to achieve. So 2-inch piece of cardstock, and the reason why it's 2 inches is because it's going to fit our punch, and I've cut this piece 8 inches long. So my first tag I basically stamped at the top, and then I left about an inch space before I stamped my next tag, and then I'm going to leave some space. What I'm trying to achieve is that for this tag, I'm going to cut this tag out of my punch, but I'm going to leave some space so that I can have like a chevron edge. And the same with this one. I'm going to have a chevron edge. So, having said that, let's go ahead and re-stamp these 2 pieces and show you another way to make sure that you can get these lined up. So here's my paper lined up along this grid system, and I'm going to take my tag and I'm going to ink it up in my Always Artichoke. And I'm going to place my Always Artichoke right along the center part of this stamp. It's going to go right here at the 2-inch mark. That is how I'm going to line it up to make sure I stay within my 2 inches, and there you go. Pretty close again, much like the last one. Okay. Now I'm going to do my other one, but I'm going to leave at least an inch space between my next image that I'm going to stamp. And this makes it kind of fast. If you want to do a number of these tags, you can just go ahead, cut a strip of 2-inch paper, and just go ahead and line it up and then stamp it. Again, I'm going to give it a little space there, and I'm going to go ahead and right there. And that's pretty much spot on. Okay, and I'm going to give this a little bit more room, so I'm not going to stamp anything else. But again, just to kind of show you how you can make a couple of these rather quickly. So now that I have those cut, I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut this right here at the top of my scallop, just straight across. Straight across. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cut that. I'm just guessing, probably an inch. Yep, about an inch and a half space between there. So now I'm going to take my scallop punch and I'm going to slip this in because it fits perfectly. It's 2-inch, and I'm going to see it show up over here. And do you see how I can see the top of it right there? Okay, do you see the top? Okay, I want to pull this down so that I don't see the top, because what I want to do is I want to cut right above that scallop. So that's why I'm going to kind of pull this down to about there where I'm not seeing that. And then I'm going to punch. And there it is. So what you get is that you actually cut above your scallop. You don't cut your scallop off. And I do have an example of a tag that I did. I did cut the scallop. So that's just kind of a little trick. Now I do have some extra paper here. So if I want, I can go ahead and take my scissors and I can just trim straight up. Okay, because the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to take my chevron punch, and you see how I see my corners right there? Okay, there's my corners. I'm not going to cut it all the way down there. I'm going to pull it up so that my corners are going to meet these corners right here. Okay? And it doesn't have to be straight, because all I'm trying to do is get a scallop. So just line up my corners, and there. So now I have that piece. What I have failed to do was to stamp the little the Merry Christmas, which I will now stamp with cherry cobbler, because the Merry Christmas will fit very nicely right here. There you go. So you could have stamped it before. I'm stamping it after because I just kind of wanted to go through those measurements a little bit. All right, so now that we have this piece, let's go ahead and let's do the same over here. Let me stamp this with a Merry Christmas. Go. I have my stamping scrub right there so I can scrub my ink. So we're going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to run through a couple of these so you can kind of see. Again, I'm going to take this in so that I can see it. And there's the red. You can see the red top. I'm going to pull it back because I want to get right above the red top. Okay, there it is. All right, now I'm going to get my chevron, and again, there's the bottom of my paper, and I can see my lettering. So I'm going to just make sure I pull up it enough where I have my lettering is out of the way. And there you go. Okay, so let's do it again with this one. Turn my punch upside down, slip my card in there. I can see the green. I can see the green. I'm going to pull it back so I don't see it. And I'm going to punch. And that's a little bit off, but all you have to do is just kind of trim it just a little bit, because it's actually pretty doggone close. Okay, and that's why I punch or I stamp on the 2-inch piece, because it really does come out pretty close. Again, there I go. I can see the green. So I'm just going to kind of line it up. And if it comes out just a little bit, again, I can just kind of. The point is, you can go ahead and make some pretty quick cards or tags using this. Okay. All right. So that looks pretty good there. Again, I'm going to take my chevron, stick it in there, pull it up so I have my corners meet the corners of my paper right here, meet the corner of my punch like that. Line them up, pull them back so I get a perfect mitered corner. Same thing here. There we go. So now I have 4 tags done very quickly. So I'm going to take my my champagne paper, and I'm just simply going to, since it's 2-inch, take it, punch it. Now I'm going to lay it on top of my tag, and I'm going to cut just below, about 1/2 inch, or less than about 1/4 inch below, and that is when I'm going to now take this and slip it in here, and I'm going to cut it. So now you can see how it's got a nice it shows nicely there below our tag. I'm going to do the same with the red. Take my red, put it into my scallop tap punch. So now that matches with that. And the real red goes well with the, because we used a crumb cake, are you alright, Rox? The cherry cobbler, it works well. It doesn't have to be exactly. Again, I'm going to trim just below so that I have a nice edge. Slip that in. There we go. And if your edge is kind of a little off, if your corner's a little off, just trim it. It's easy. There you go. There you go. So now I have 2 tags. One more tag here, and I'm going to need a longer piece to do that. So what I'm going to do is, let's do this one with my champagne. Fits in perfectly. Cut it. Line that up. We're going to cut right about, I guess, about 1/4. Yeah, it's a little bit over a quarter. Okay, I'm going to put this in. You can see how quickly you can make some tags, and this is even a good technique for any of your Christmas tags. Putting this kind of this extra backing on it, and I don't have enough, so I'm going to have to get another piece of cardstock to do that. But what I want to do now is just go ahead and get my ribbon, and I'm using this this gold ribbon here, and you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to color our tags. That's why they look so plain. I'm sitting here looking at them going, how come these look so plain? Because I forgot to color them. So let's stop right now and let me show you how I colored these tags using our Stampin' Blend markers. So for the green one, these are green grapes. So I started out by just basically using the yellow, and I just kind of put some yellow all over my grapes. And a little bit on the leaves. Okay, could put a little yellow on these leaves here. And then I'm going to take the light green, and this is your light old olive. And I'm just going to color my grapes. And not all of them have to be colored. I can let some of the yellow show through. So I can kind of let some of that. I am going to color my leaves with my light green. Go over here and color my leaves. Okay, let's get my dark old olive, and I'm going to do the top of these leaves like this, and then I'm just going to go around each little grape here, and I'm just going to kind of do a little C, a little swirl like that. I'm going to add a little bit more of the dark green to my leaves. Again, little C's on half of my little grapes are being colored in, even the ones that are kind of light. Go back up here. I'm going to add a little bit more of the dark. I just need a little bit more contrast. And I'm going to add more pigment to the bottom of my grape bunch. That's where I kind of want the darkness. Do the bottom of my leaf right here. To do these dark leaves here, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of color those in a little bit. I'm kind of going around the outline of the leaf with the dark color, and now I'm going to get the light cherry cobbler, and I'm just going to kind of go over them. And I'm kind of using kind of touching them. I'm not going over the whole thing because I do want a little bit of white showing on my grapes. I'm not trying to color it all in. Now I'm going to take my dark and I'm going to go on the bottom side of my grape bunch and kind of just color those in. to get me my shadow. Okay, so those look pretty good. The last step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take some clear Wink of Stella, and now I'm going to just go over my grape bunch with my Wink of Stella, and I'm just going to make that bunch just pop now. I have some music playing softly. It just kind of relaxes me, but I also have a snoring pug below me, so I don't know if you can hear the snore. Okay, now that looks a lot better. So now I can add, there, look how pretty that champagne looks with our ribbon. So now I can go ahead, and I've cut about, this is about a 10-inch or 16-inch piece of ribbon. I'm going to fold it in half and just slip it into my slot. And there you go. So there's your cards. I can go ahead and finish the rest of these cards up, but with the interest of time, I just wanted to demonstrate very fast how you can put these tags together, how easy they are, and what a great value I think that this half full stamp set is for not only just every day, but also going into the holidays for a wine gift for someone, which you can also pair up with a beautiful Christmas card. So this is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection. Thank you for watching. Please like my video, and if you're interested with any of my products, they're all available on my online store. And if you're looking for a demonstrator, hey, reach out and contact me. I'd love to support you. Thank you much. Kat Chancellor, happy stamping.